Welcome back, everybody. As you guessed by the title of the video, we are going over some NightStick weapon lights. We have 4 of them here. It pretty well represents their lineup. There's a few that they offer that are very similar to the ones I have here, but just like for other guns, or have slightly different feature sets. And so why are we going over NightStick weapon lights? Well, these things were announced at 2020 SHOT Show, and people just started blowing me up about them. What do I think about them, etc. They have some good features, some good specs that we'll get into here in just a second. And I reached out to the folks over there at NightStick and requested to get some in for review. Now, these that you guys see here, these 4, I think are like prototypes that were sent in for SHOT Show. I think they're the exact ones that were used at SHOT Show, because I've had these in since like February, and these didn't hit retail stores until October of 2020. So it's been a while for them to get in. However, I've had these in a while. I've done a ton of shooting with these because, again, I've had them in before the pandemic happened and before the ammo shortage. So I've pumped a lot of rounds through guns with these weapon lights on them. I could roll in like 15 minutes plus of just shooting video, which I won't do. Don't worry about that, but I could. So the actual lights themselves, let's talk about it, each individual one. So this one here is the 850. This one here is the TWM, and it's the XLS. So XL is the size of it, and the S indicates that it has a strobe feature on it. Very similar in form factor, with some exceptions, to, of course, the Streamlight TLR1. And it has the toggle switches back here are fully independent, and I really, really like that system. It's fantastic, in fact, because they work either way. You can go up and down with either one of them. So if you wanted to mount it on top of a gun, like an AR, as you guys probably saw throughout the intro, you can do that just fine. It has different inserts in there that it comes with to match up with different rail systems. And then you can just tighten it down as you would, again, with most of your weapon lights out there. It has 850 lumens of output, I believe 15,000 candela, powered by 2 CR123A batteries. And I actually like the door cap, the way that they screwed it in. I know a lot of you guys have reported over the years that sometimes your either your O lights or your Streamlights, the door cap will pop off because of the design of it. Ain't no way this thing's popping off, and realistically, how often do you have to actually change your weapon light batteries? Not all that often. So that is one there that we're going to be going over. And then we have the smaller version here, and this is the 550 XLS. This one is the one designed for pistols. They make one, and when I say designed for pistols, I mean that because of the way the interface works. So you can press down and hold for your constant on, and just click if you want, constant on rather, excuse me, press down and hold for momentary on, if I could get to say it right, and then click for constant on. Has different inserts on the inside there. This one has a lockout feature that I do like. I kind of wish all lights had that, because I've had many lights turn on in my range bag in the back of my truck, and you go to use it and the battery is burnt out. But this is the pistol version, and this one has the strobe feature. Again, they make one without the strobe feature. They also make one designed for rifles, where basically your toggle switches here are just flipped. So you push down to do the exact same function. If you guys like that type of setup for like a little PCC or something like that, you guys should be seeing the specs being rolled in here on your screen as well for all of these items. This one here is basically their version of a scout light, right? So it's the LGL 170, I believe is the name of it, and it takes a rechargeable 18650 battery. It comes with 2 of those. You can also use CR123As if you choose to. This one's 1500 lumens, and I believe 24,000 candela. Has a operation here. It has the ability rather to operate with the tail cap, and again, you can press and hold for momentary and then click for constant. It also has a tape switch option, and the tape switch has a pretty decent little mounting system for 1913 rails. Additionally, it comes with a wire mounting solution as well. So it's a little piece of 1913 compatible aluminum where you can store your wires. So there is that. It also comes with 2 1913 mounts. So it comes with one that is kind of traditional. It mounts straight up to the 1913 itself, and then it comes with an offset 1913 mount as well. And then it also comes with a battery charger for the 18650, and it works with any of the Surefire Scout mounts out there. I've tried Arisaka and Impact Weapons components with it so far. I can only vouch for those 2, but it works just fine. And then they offer their own M-LOK compatible offset mount, but that doesn't come with it, just for what it's worth. Up here on the head, a little bit larger than what you're going to see with the Surefires. It has that heat sink there on the back. I believe all of these are or rather 6061 aluminum, and they're type 3 hard anodized. They're all IPX8 or 7, depending on the actual light that we're talking about here. But this one's got a ton of rounds through it because it has sat on one of my test guns, which is a KS 47. And I do a lot of optics testing and then product testing for companies and stuff like that. That doesn't actually make the channel, like with prototypes, those sorts of things. But it's got a lot of rounds through it as well. And then we also have this guy here, which is their 11G. They make these for, obviously, our 43X here. They make them for the 43X and 48 and 43. They make them with the rail, without the rail. They make them for the SIG, P365, and other options out there. This is a light and laser combo. Has the green laser on there. They make a red one as well. And this one is actually rechargeable as well. So it comes with a USB rechargeable adapter to it, so that way you never have to take it off. You don't have to change the batteries, those sorts of things. Additionally, while I was thinking about that, I should point out that all of these lights actually have pretty decent holster compatibility. Now, these two are pretty much going to line up with your either Streamlight TLR7 or TLR1 HL holsters. To date, I've not had one, with the exception of retention holsters that they don't work in. All of my Kydex holsters with those lights, for Streamlight rather, work with these lights as well. But this guy here is very different, of course, than say like the TLR6, but there are holster companies that do make them for these already. So that is the good news. So I suppose with all of that, sort of an overview of each light, let's check out the beam comparison and then come back and talk about what I think of them at the end. So I have the camera set on manual, and I have it as close to what I can see with my human eye. Tonight is a full moon, so we have some pretty good illumination out there, which is why you can kind of see some stuff already there on your screen. But here we have the 550, and that space there where the wood fence meets the iron fence is approximately 35 feet away. Those trees there in the background are 40 to 50 feet away. You can get an idea here of the beam pattern. Obviously, it has a good amount of spill. The hot spot there, you guys can see it's tight. It's probably at this distance 12 to 15 feet. So it's not a throw monster by any means, but you're still getting pretty good situational awareness and a good balance there with that beam. Now, as for comparison, if I can actually get it out of my pocket, here is our Streamlight TLR7. And you'll note there that it has a much wider hotspot for sure. And the balance itself, it's just, there's a little bit less of an edge than we have here with the NightStick. So NightStick, you can see the edge there on the hotspot, and then the Streamlight. The output that you see right now is going to be from the 850. You guys can see it's got a tighter hotspot there, and a little bit more of an edge there on the spill. There's a little bit of spill once it comes off that edge, but not much there. Basically, what you see right there is what's going to get illuminated on the edge there of the outside. Now, for comparison's sake, that right there is the 1000 lumen Streamlight TLR1, which I know everybody wants to compare it to. And you can get an idea there. The hotspot, again, Streamlight here, NightStick here. NightStick, Streamlight. And now we have the output here from the Glock 43 mounted weapon light and laser. I'll tell you, it's definitely a lot less than what we were just looking at with those other two lights. But still, at this distance, to have that type of illumination, and I can tell you with my human eye, that laser is super, super bright, just drawing you in. But that is the output. It's definitely much brighter than like a TLR6. If you guys have watched my videos on those, shot in this very location, you'll see the difference. Here we have the output from the LG 170, the one that is Scout compatible. You can see it's got a really nice hotspot there in the middle, nice and bright, and then the spill, not super wide, but compared to, say, this light here, which is the Surefire 1000 lumen Scout, the newest ones, you guys can get an idea there. This one's got a little bit more flood for sure. And then here's the NightStick, and you guys can see the temperature and intensity are a little bit different as well. Once again, we do have a full moon out tonight, so there is plenty of illumination as it is. But across the lake there, that tree line is about 110 yards away from where we are right now. That output that you see right there is from the 850. So you can see that lot right there has been recently cleared. It's tough to tell with the camera what you guys are seeing, but I can tell you here with my human eye, it would be hit or miss. It would probably be dependent on what the person was wearing, if I could actually spot a person in there, just because of the conditions that we're in now. You can get a look there at the treetops. It's definitely illuminating a little bit. But, you know, if there was a vehicle or something like that in the field, you could 100% see it without question. Just for, I guess, comparison sakes here, we'll check out the 170, and you guys can kind of get a difference there. I'd absolutely be able to tell if somebody was in that field without question. You can see that little shack there, very easily illuminated. The trees very bright. If there was honestly animals in those trees, I could see them. So it's a difference. It's maybe tough to come through on camera. Again, here's the 850 pistol style light, and then the 170. It's just got a little bit more punch to it for sure, and should also show that this is the strobe capability there, that 850, and it's very slow compared to other strobe options out there. With the beam comparison out of the way, one thing we always want to talk about is going to be function and reliability. None of these lights has given me a single issue at all in terms of performance. We've had no flickering, no dimming, nothing like that. This particular one with the lockout mode, I forgot to lock out one time and it ran all the way down. It didn't catch fire or anything like that, but it did give me a dead battery. So in terms of performance, heat sink and all of that stuff and thermal regulation, it's doing it all pretty darn well. This one I didn't mention comes with a CR123A battery. But in terms of performance, you can't do better than they've done. In terms of reliability, you guys obviously just saw the output. You can make the call there for yourself. Price point wise on these, that's always going to be important when talking about something that's kind of a newer technology or a newer brand into the market, right? So this one here, our 550 is coming in around 80 bucks-ish, depending on where you look, street price. This one here, the 850, is coming in around 60 to 70 to 80 dollars, depending on where you look. It's somewhere in that price range, and you know, compared to competitive offerings with similar outputs, these are very affordable options. Again, it takes time to build up brand reputation and those sorts of things, and you can't rush that, so they're new. But in terms of price point, they are definitely pretty affordable compared to, again, competitive options out there. The price point on this one here, we'll throw up on your screen. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But one thing to note here about this one is when zeroing the laser, there's really no tactile input, if you will, from the elevation and windage adjustment. Not that it really matters once you set it, but just know that going into it. And like I said, compared to the TLR6, it's definitely brighter. And the controls there on this one are pretty simple. It's just the push buttons there on the side. And you can change it out if you want light only, laser only, and then light and laser only. You just do that by pressing both buttons and changing through the modes there. But yeah, for the size of it and compared to other options that are out there on the market, I think this is a pretty good option as well. Again, holsters are going to be more limited compared to the TLR6 for sure, but they are out there. And then this guy here is kind of an interesting one in my opinion, because the other three that we just talked about there are kind of like budget lights compared to other options in the market. This one's not. So the 170 here is coming in. If you look around, you'll find it for like $199, something like that. And that puts it in Surefire territory for sure. So it's pricey in that range. But you do get a lot of things with it. You get those extra mounts, the battery charger, the rechargeable battery, the tape switch, the cable management system, all of those sorts of things. But I do think from what I'm seeing right now for a newer light on the market, you know, it's kind of expensive in my opinion, but ultimately, I suppose that's up to you guys to decide, you know, where you're going to spend your money. You guys have seen the performance here. We've drop tested these. Again, no issues with them performance-wise at all. Whether or not you want to invest in them, up to you. So I think at that point, we've pretty much covered it all. There'll be links down below to all of these lights if you guys are looking to pick one up. It'll be down in the video description or pinned in the comments, one of the two, depending on where you're actually watching this video. But yeah, performance-wise, they've been great, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they come out with. They just released some new models like a month ago as well that haven't arrived on store shelves yet, so hopefully we'll get some of those in to continue testing them. But I've been happy with the performance of them to date, and again, whether you guys are looking to pick them up, that's up to you. All I can do is use them, demonstrate them, and then let you guys decide. So that's it for the review front. If you guys are watching this on YouTube or any of the major social media platforms, we all know that may be going away any day now because of our political climate that we live in. So I do have 2 email lists that you guys can sign up for. One of them is going to be up here on your screen, and that's going to be for all the content since my last video went out, because regardless of what happens on any of the social media networks, I will still have content up. Just where it is may depend. So that one will always keep you guys having the ability to watch my content without a social media giant filtering you from that content. So there's that. And then if any of these go on sale or anything like that, I do have a deals email as well that you guys can see here on your screen. You can sign up there as well. And then all of my social medias, the big ones, are up here. And I'm experimenting with alternative ones as well, as we all are in these times. But you guys can follow me around the interwebs at those places. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. I truly appreciate it. If you have any questions, you can post them down below in the comment section. But the best place to reach me with those questions is still over at my Facebook page, just because of the interface there, and I do see them. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for subscribing, watching, all of those things, and I hope to see everybody in the next video.